and in this case you're basically filing nil, because once you're not making any form of income from that business, they cannot actually tax you. You cannot pay NHD and Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing everything that relates to taxes. This is not one of the best topics or something that I want to speak about, but I know a lot of you want assistance and additional knowledge on how you can actually file your taxes. So I'm gonna assist you as much as I can. Just a gentle reminder as well, this is in no way, shape or form any form of advice from my end. Please to do your own research to ensure that whatever information I am providing you with, it is of clarity to you and there is no form of misunderstanding. So let's dive right into this video. We're gonna be talking about what exactly it is when we mention tax filing. From my basic knowledge and filing taxes on my behalf or for my business, filing taxes is basically declaring all the income that you have earned within an annual year or for a period that you are in business. So this is basically for a self-employed person. For an individual, you would not actually be required to file your taxes, being that you're not treated as a business. But as long as you have or operate a business, whether that's online or you consider yourself as a self-employed person, you definitely need to be filing your taxes. Let's say you just registered your business today and the tax filing period is March 15th. So I wanted to do this video from February, but honestly this is not one of the best topics or favorite topics that I like to talk about, because it can be so confusing. And the way I feel about paying taxes to the government, like, I get so infuriated. Is that even a word? I get so frustrated at times thinking about the amount of money we actually put over to the government that should be helping with the development of our country that we're not actually seeing, and we do not have any say in it, and we're the ones that are actually helping the government to ascertain these funds for the better development of our country. Anyways, when you're declaring your income, you're basically telling the government that I've made this amount of money in my business for this specific period. So the period we're referring to, if you decided that your business that you have in mind, it's going to be doing well and it has a potential, then you start in August. The tax filing period would have already passed for March. That still does not mean that you're not required to pay your taxes. When I decided to register my business, before I started filing the taxes, I was thinking I'm gonna just register in January so I have ample time for March to file my taxes, so I am not in any form of debt, or I really like to be on point in everything, so everything should be organized and I should have some form of flow before I actually jump into doing something. I was knowledgeable about the fact that regardless of when my business is registered, I can still file otherwise. So if I had registered my business in April after the tax filing period, I would still have ample time to file my taxes, because I would have already started operating my business in August. When I'm filing my taxes, I would enter the period when my business started, so it would be from August to December. In that case, I would be filing the SO4A form, and this is basically a form that states that you're declaring the amount that you expect to be earning for this current period. An estimated income tax filing simply means that you're telling the government that this is the amount of money I'm expecting to be generating from my business for this current period. So you're not basically filing the taxes in terms of the NIS, the NHD, the education taxes and statutory deductions like that. One of the taxes that would basically be mandatory in this instance would be the NIS. So regardless if you're making money or not, you will be required to pay your NIS, and that is basically the pension. So whenever you get older, you'll basically get this money back. If you're making $50 and that goes back into expenses, you haven't made any form of profit or income, then you would basically file nil or zero, meaning that you're not making any money, but the government still requires for you to pay your NIS. I don't want to be all over the place. I've made a note, so if you see me looking down, I'm basically checking to see that I'm not missing anything. So I have already explained what tax filing is, so if you didn't understand what exactly this was, then you can replay the video so you can have a better idea. I did not mention either. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel if you like business related information, or if you're trying to grow your business and you need the knowledge, then please ensure that you do not miss any of my videos. I try to stay as informative as possible. Subscribe to the channel, okay? So once you operate a business, you basically need to be filing your taxes. If it's a case where you own a business and you're still employed elsewhere, so let's say that you're doing it as a side hustle, but you've taken the necessary steps to have your business registered, you have two sources of income. So the government still needs for you to declare the information from your job that you're employed at, as well as from your business. So you're basically declaring all the income that you're earning for both the business and the job that you're being occupied or employed at. The first mistake that was made when I was filing my estimated income tax was to only file for the business, and I do not regret it, because while filing the income tax for this year 2023, I realized that the income that was gained from my other source, which would have been the job that I was employed at, so that will increase your chances of paying a lot more taxes. How to file your taxes? The period that you have been operating your business for would have already ended. Let's say, I'm going to use myself as an example. So I have filed my estimated income tax for 2022 for that actual period. That's the year that I started my business. So now that the business is in the system, I need to tell the government what I'm estimating to earn for this current period. What I found a little bit confusing, and I know a lot of you might be asking, why do I need to file an estimated income tax and I'm still going to be filing for the next year? You're giving an estimated income, right? So I just feel like the government want to take everything from you. Because why is it that you want me to file an estimated income tax, pay for that year that I'm not actually, you don't see any form of sales as yet, you know? There is no form of sales, yet you want me to be filing an estimated income tax showing you how much I expect to be earning from my business before that money is even in my account or before I even get those sales. Let's say for that year you estimate to earn $200,000 for the year, an example. You're gonna state that that is what you expect to earn, the fact that you're earning that amount, and this is where your financial statements will also come in handy, because you need to have some form of predictions that state that for this month this is the amount I will be earning, and vice versa. So with that financial statement, it will better give you an idea on how much you should be estimating for the income for your business. You're gonna have your expenses as well as the income from your sales. So depending on the total amount that will be generated from your sales, when your expenses are deducted, you either will be making a profit or you're making a loss. So let's say for your first year of business, it is your first year, so you will be spending a lot of your funds on different assets that will help your business to flow a little bit more easier. And if it's a case where you'll be getting inventories and stuff like that, then that will take into account in your expenses. You can actually state for the first year you won't be making a profit, and in this case you're basically filing nil, because once you're not making any form of income from that business, they cannot actually tax you. You cannot pay NHT and education taxes, income tax, or any of those taxes. So filing the estimated income tax, you basically file nil. So you would go on the tax administration of Jamaica. It can be done online. You do not have to leave your house to file your taxes. So once you have a Visa or a MasterCard, you can just submit the payment on the portal. You first need to create the e-services account, and this has to be validated. I think mine took 1 to 2 days because I wasn't able to gain access immediately. So you have to ensure that you are in the e-service account where you can access the tax filing as well as making payments. You can do so many stuff. You can request a TCC and all of those good stuff. So now you're in the e-services account. So the fact that your business has already been registered, you select the option that states file income tax, and once you have selected that, you will basically get a form. You would have already had your estimated income, your financial statement. Once you calculate all of that information, then you would enter it. It will ask you for the total amount that you've earned, so your income and your expenses. Those are the two things that you will need for the estimated income tax. So once you enter that, basically everything will remain blank because you do not have anything to do with that, and then you will select submit. Once you submit the documents, then it will take you to another page where it will confirm the amount that you're required to be paid. And as I've stated, the only tax that you're required to pay, or that will be mandatory, is the NIS. And once it is 0 or nil, the minimum is $13,000. You have to file the taxes before March 15th, and also to make the payment. That is the deadline. Otherwise, they will be charging you $5,000 plus interest on that amount for late filing. They also give you the option where you can actually make the payment in quarterly. Instead of making that $13,000 one time, then you can make the payment on the 15th of each quarterly period. So now that your estimated income has been filed, you're basically saved for this year, and you can do all the good stuff that you hear all of those business owners talking about. You do not need an accountant to file your taxes as a new business owner, being that it is a pretty easy step. And well, if it's a case where you do not understand and you need the help of an accountant, you have the money, then you can go ahead and do it. But you really do not need an accountant to file your estimated income. If you should reach out and you're ready to open a business bank account during that year, then if you should ask or request a TCC on the TAJ website, then that should be granted to you easily. You shouldn't have any form of issues. And if it's a case where you want to open a business bank account, you're also compliant, you can also do that as well. Anything that you need during that first year, you're basically safe to do. Anything that requires a TCC, if you're ready to clear your goods on behalf of your company without reaching out to any form of shipping company, you can do that as well. Okay, so you will want to have some form of idea on what exactly you will be taxed on as a small business owner. So these are some of the taxes that you need to acquaint yourself with. So when it's time to file the income tax, then you already have some form of idea what it is. So you're going to be taxed on NIS, NHT, education tax, and if it's a case where you're making $125,000 for your income on a monthly basis, then you will be entitled to pay income tax. So anything under that, then you're basically only paying the NHT, the NIS, and education taxes. So the first year would have already passed, and now it's time to file the income taxes for the previous year that would have already ended. You might hear a lot of persons speak about documentation and proper bookkeeping. I've done a previous video explaining all of that good stuff. I'll have it linked down in the description below. So when it's time to file your taxes, you need to ensure that all the sales that you would have had on a monthly basis or weekly basis, however you want to handle your bookkeeping, that's up to date. If it's a case where you buy a pencil, and a pen tomorrow, you need to take that into account, because that will be going on your expenses, whatever the case may be. Ensure that you have some form of application that you can actually use to document all of your expenses and all of the income that is coming into your business, so when it's time to file your taxes, you have everything in one place. Let's say it's now February or early March and you're ready to file your taxes. Once you have all of your bookkeeping up to date and you have all your expenses and total income for the previous year, basically you need to go on the tax administration of Jamaica and file your taxes there. All you need to do is to ensure that the total income that you have earned, they're going to ask you for that amount on the document. You need to submit that along with your expenses. Everything else that will be on the form will be automatically calculated, meaning that the system that they use, it does it for you, so you do not need to worry about what exactly you need to calculate. Just ensure that you have the income that you've earned as well as the expenses. If it's a case where you have been working otherwise, so you have two sources, you also need to ensure that you have the total income that you would have earned from that place of employment along with your business. So you're basically declaring both of your incomes on the income statement that you're filing. So once you follow the instructions on each form, it basically gives you a rundown. It will ask you when the business was registered, as well as how long you have been operating and simple stuff like that. And after submitting, it will provide you with the minimum amount that you're required to pay for that previous period. So the NHT, the NIS, as well as the education taxes, it will give you a breakdown. So for this year, it will give you the actual amount that you should have paid for the previous year that you had submitted the estimated income statement. So I was a little bit confused in terms of submitting the information. So you will realize that it will show you the NIS for the previous year along with the NIS for this current period. So not only will you be filing the taxes for the previous year, you're gonna also file an estimated income statement as well for this current year. So you're gonna be paying off what you would have owed the government from the previous year. So I would have already paid the NIS. So if it's a case where when I filed this current period for that past year that I would have been in business, meaning that it would have already been estimated if it was over, meaning you were supposed to pay $8,000 and being that it was an estimated income, you paid $13,000 for the NIS. This current period, after submitting the information, it will basically give you the accurate amount. So if you were required to pay $9,000, then the government would need to refund you, reimburse you the additional amount that you would have overpaid, so $3,000 plus. And you can always go to the NIS office or to request the total amount owed to you so that they can have it reimbursed. So you're basically paying an estimated amount for this year 2023, and you're paying whatever you would have owed for 2022. So you're making payments for two accounting periods. So whatever is estimated for you to be paid for this period 2024, you'll be paying that amount, the correct amount, after you have filed the taxes, and then you're also going to be doing an estimate for 2024. So it's now going to be a cycle where now in business the government will basically be taking what is due to them. I don't want to say they're going to be robbing you or anything like that. So you might have thought that filing your taxes is pretty hard. Well, it is not. So this is the basic information that would be required. So if you haven't filed your taxes as yet, I highly implore for you to submit your tax filing so that you can avoid any form of penalties that might be added to your information that is currently in the system. Bear in mind, once your business has been registered, the government can now track how long you have been in operation. So if you have registered and you're not filing your taxes, if you want any form of TCC or any form of business credits, the government or the bank, whoever you're reaching out to, they can actually track your information. And if you're not up to date, you won't be getting these things that you might need, and these are essential. The system is basically geared towards ensuring that small business owners are not doing business undocumented or in the illegal way. So I also forgot to mention, if it's a case where you have filed your taxes and you realize that you're unable to make the payment, especially if you had done it last minute, you can also request for a payment arrangement. So it's not that bad when you look at it. You just need to educate yourself and ensure that you know the system. So just try to ensure that you are up to par with your business in terms of registration, tax filing, and bookkeeping. Ensure that this is on point. I know that it can be hard, and a lot of persons might be needing a lot of knowledge in terms of what they need to do after they have registered their business. Don't worry, I will be providing you with an ebook very soon. I'm currently working on it, and as soon as it is launched, I will be dropping it in the description box. So if you're ready to make any form of purchase or anything like that, the information is readily available. So now that you're a new business owner, you might be wondering, what are some of the loopholes that you can actually use for your business to ensure that you're not paying a lot of taxes? Few business owners might like to do is to ensure that they are stating that they're writing off their expenses. So if it's a case where you realize that most of the stuff that you do, it is business related, you can always add that to your expenses. So when it's time to declare your income, your expenses is higher than your income. You have an entire apartment that is solely for your business, you can write off at least half of your rent and state that that is the business rent or whatever it is. If you're doing photo shoots, if it's a case where you're the one doing it, you can always pay yourself as the photographer some portion of it. So other than just stating that I've earned this amount, and you're trying to ensure that you're saving all of that money so that your income can be a little bit higher than your expenses. On paper for your tax filing, it can be a little less. That is a loophole that a lot of persons might use. I don't want it to seem as if I am giving you guys any form of ideas. Whatever you see and hear here, let it stay here. The only way you should be sharing this information is unless it's to a friend or a family member that needs it. Okay, when you're declaring the taxes, what you can do, if it's a case where you want to reinvest your money or the funds that you're making back into the business, you can also do that. You made $1 million and you realize that you do need additional stuff for your business. So other than stating that I'm gonna pocket this money and use it to go on vacation or trips, you can say that you reinvest it back into the business. You also need to show proof. I think the time frame that they require for all of your receipts is 6 to 7 years, so they can always run an audit on your business. You cannot overdo stuff, so you cannot state that you're not making any money at all year after year, because they can always require for an audit to be done on your business. And if they actually check your business bank accounts, remember that your TRN is attached to it. So depending on the type of business that you're running, if it is construction and you realize that most persons that pay you, they pay you with some form of checks, remember that it has to go through the bank, and your TRN is attached to the bank account as well as to the business. So the government can always run an audit on your accounts, and if it's a case where you would have underestimated the total amount of income that you have earned for that year, they can always request the audit, and if you're in wrong, then they can always request some form of backfiling or request for you to pay some additional amount of money in the event you would have underestimated your income, and nobody wants that. So you need to ensure that you understand what you're doing. If it's a case where you need assistance, you can always reach out to an accountant that is already established and have a wider knowledge and idea on how tax information works and the basics to learning. And this is a very vital reason as to why small business owners need to acquaint themselves with certain things. So I can always pay someone to do something for me, but how will it help me as a small business owner if I don't know what exactly I am doing or what they're doing? You need to understand tax basics. So when you realize that they're filing your taxes and they state that this is the amount that they're going to be submitting for you to be paying to the government, what benefits are you going to be getting from paying your taxes? Is it a case where after filing this amount of money, whether you're over or underestimating your income, what will it benefit you after overpaying? If you realize that paying taxes, the threshold that is required to meet the NHT requirement for the $6.5 million, if you're supposed to pay $800,000 to meet that requirement and you're paying $1 million, you're basically overpaying and you're not benefiting from it. So you have to learn the system to know the system. Nobody wants to be that person. I'm not sure about you, but I don't want to be that person. So I'm gonna take my time and try to find different books or reach out to different persons that I know are the bigger heads, the giants in the business, and ensure that I'm learning from them. So at the end of the day, I already understand. So nobody can play me, nobody can scam me, because I already understand and I know. And to begin with, the more you're knowledgeable about what you're doing, then the better it is for you. Like simple things that people might be charging you $10,000, $15,000 for, you can actually save that money and invest in your business. So you need to be smart about it. We're small business owners for a reason. We're the hustlers. And why exactly are you hustling? To make your life easier and better, not to be paying all the time. You don't always have to be paying. Ensure that you're willing to learn and adapt. I know that I have submitted this video late. I'm going to try to edit it today, March 13th. So anyone that needs additional information to file their taxes, they basically have a better understanding. If you have any form of questions as it relates to tax filing, getting your TCC, whatever it is, drop them down below. We're currently at 124 subscribers, guys, and I realized that maybe you guys don't want this information. Maybe it's too good to be true. I'm not sure what the situation is, but y'all not messing with my videos the way I want you guys to. Liking my videos, subscribing to my channel, that will help me, that will motivate me. And if you want to get additional information, if I'm motivated, then I'll basically be throwing the information out there. So other than paying other persons that aren't providing this information, which is free of cost over here, you can always support my channel by liking and commenting. So don't just be a lurker, guys. Ensure that you're hitting and smashing the subscribe buttons. Ensure that you're liking the videos and commenting. This will show my videos to other persons, small business owners that need the information like you do. So do me a favor and ensure that you are subscribed, especially if you like content like this. And this is basically the end of my video, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, see you in my next video. Bye.